Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're gonna talk about a very cool shortcut in calculus, the derivative of an inverse function. Sometimes finding the inverse of a function is really hard, but the good news is you don't actually need to find the inverse to calculate its derivative. Here's the main idea. If we have a function f that takes a to b, meaning f of a equals b, then the derivative of the inverse function at point b is simply the reciprocal of the derivative of the original function at point a. In math terms, we write it like this. F inverse prime of b is equal 1 divided by f prime of a. Meaning flip the slope. For example, if the slope of the original function is 4, the slope of the inverse is simply 1 over 4. Okay? But why does this work? It's actually very simple if we use the chain rule. We know that a function and its inverse undo each other. So we have f inverse of f of x is equal x. Okay? Now let's take the derivative of both sides. On the left, using the chain rule. So we get f prime of x times f inverse prime of f of x equals 1. Now if we just solve for the inverse part, we get our beautiful formula. F inverse prime of f of x is equal 1 over f prime of x. Okay? And since f of a equals b, it becomes f inverse prime of b is equal 1 divided by f prime of a. Now let's jump into some examples to see.
Number 1. If f of x is equal x cubed plus 2x, so what is the value of f inverse prime of 3? We know that if a and b is in f, so b and a is in f inverse. Okay? And we also know that f inverse prime of b is equal f over f prime of a. So in this problem, 3 is b. 3 is b. Here is 3 and here is 3. A and 3 is in f. So we have f of a is equal 3. So if we plug in a for x, so we have f of a is equal a cubed plus 2a is equal 3. Now check a simple value. If, for example, a is equal 1, so we have 1 cubed plus 2 times 1 is equal 3. Okay, so a is 1. So we have a is 1 and here a is 1. Now find f prime of x. F prime of x is equal the derivative of this equation is equal 3x squared plus 2. So we have f prime of a is equal 1 is equal 3 times 1 squared plus 2 is equal 5. Okay, so f prime of a is equal 5. So f inverse prime of b is equal 3 is equal 1 divided by f prime of 1. A is equal 1. So we have 1 over 5. It's very simple. Number 2, if f of x is equal x minus 1 over x plus 1, so what is the value of f inverse prime of 2? And we also know that if a and b is in f, so b and a is in f inverse. Okay, so b is 2. B is 2 and b is 2. So a and 2 is in f. So f of a is equal 2. So if we plug in a for x, we have f of a is equal a minus 1 over a plus 1 is equal to is equal to. Now let's solve for a. First multiply both sides by a plus 1. So we have a minus 1 is equal to 2 times a plus 1. Now expand the right side. We have a minus 1 is equal to a plus 2. And finally, we have a is equal negative 3. A is equal negative 3. Negative 3. Now we find f prime of x using the quotient rule. Look at this carefully. If f of x is equal x minus 1 over x plus 1, so f prime of x is equal derivative of top, means the derivative of x minus 1 is 1 times bottom x plus 1 minus the derivative of the bottom times top, means 1 times x minus 1 over the bottom squared. So x minus x cancel, so 1 minus negative 1 is equal to 2 over x plus 1 squared. Okay, so we have f prime of a is equal negative 3. F prime of negative 3 is equal to 2 over negative 3 plus 1 is equal negative 2. So negative 2 squared is equal 4. So f prime of negative 3 is equal 1/2. So according to this formula, f inverse prime of b is equal 1 divided by f prime of a. Okay, so f inverse prime of b is equal 2 and a is equal negative 3. So f inverse prime of 2 is equal 1 divided by f prime of negative 3. So 1 over 1/2 is equal to. So f inverse prime of 2 is equal to. Number 3, if f of x is equal x over the square root of 1 plus x squared, so find the value of f inverse prime of 3 over 5. Again, we know that a and b is in f, so b and a is in f inverse. Okay, so b is equal 3 over 5. B is equal 3 over 5. 3 over 5. 3 over 5. Okay, so a and 3 over 5 is in f. So we have f of a is equal 3 over 5. And if we plug in a for x, we have f of a is equal a over the square root of 1 plus a squared is equal 3 over 5. To solve this, let's square both sides, means a squared over 1 plus a squared is equal 9 over 25. So cross multiply means 25a squared is equal 9 plus 9a squared. So we have 25a squared minus 9a squared is equal 16a squared is equal 9. So a squared is equal 9 over 16. So a is equal positive or negative 3 over 4. Since our result means 3 over 5 is positive, so we take the positive value, means a is equal positive 3 over 4. Now find f prime. So we have f of x is equal x over the square root of 1 plus x squared. So f prime of x is equal, now we can use the quotient rule, means the derivative of the top is 1 times the square root of 1 plus x squared minus the derivative of the square root of 1 plus x squared is equal 2x over 2 times the square root of 1 plus x squared times x over the square root of bottom, means 1 plus x squared. Okay, 2 and 2 cancels, so we have f prime of x is equal 1 plus x squared, the square root of 1 plus x squared minus x squared over the square root of 1 plus x squared. Okay, so finally, if we simplify this fraction, we have f prime of x is equal 1 over 1 plus x squared times the square root of 1 plus x squared. Okay, so f prime of x is equal this fraction, so we have f prime of a is equal 3 over 4. Okay, so f prime of 3 over 4 is equal 1 over 1 plus 3 over 4 squared times the square root of 1 plus 3 over 4 squared. Okay, so we have 1 over 3 over 4 squared is equal 9 over 16. So 1 plus 9 over 16 is equal 25 over 16 times the square root of 25 over 16. Okay, and finally answer 1 over 25 over 16 times the square root of 25 over 16 is equal 5 over 4. F prime of 3 over 4 is equal 1 over 125 over 64. And finally answer f prime of 3 over 4 is equal 64 over 125. So finally answer is equal f inverse prime of 3 over 5 is equal 1 over f prime of a 3 over 4 is equal 1 over 64 over 125. 64 over 125, and finally answer is equal 125 over 64.